Hi everyone. So I'm doing my weekly wrap up for September. So I tried reading Her Soul to Take by Harlow, but I ended up DNFing that because I was bored with it. I'll just say I was bored with it. Not sure if I will go back to it. I'll try to. I just wasn't feeling it. So I was like, I just wanted to get into something else. So I ended up reading Unhinged by, I think it's Onley James, maybe Onley James, not sure. But this is Necessary Evils #1. So this series, it's a whole series where it's basically kind of reminds me a bit of like Dexter meets Criminal Minds. So you've got the first book here, you've got the characters of Adam and Noah. And I said, this is a very dark and triggering book. It is a very dark, triggering book. So reader beware. You know, you have to be careful with this one. So there's triggers for talk of murder, talk of child molestation, talk of human trafficking, also talk of a chomo ring, you know. I don't want to, I have to be wary about what I say on YouTube because I don't want them dinging my channel. So I have to be wary. But this is a very dark and can be triggering book for some. So just be wary on that. So I said this book really reminded me of a lot of, like I said, show of Dexter, also with Criminal Minds element. So you've got the character of Adam. And Adam basically had a very traumatic childhood where, you know, the first 5 years, even 10 years of a child's life are the most important. And if you go and you have a child that's raised in a certain way of living, it's going to form that person's brain in a particular way. So Adam basically witnessed something very traumatic to where he was basically a, what you would say, maybe a sociopath, where he has no feeling, you know, he'll never fall in love, he'll never have feelings of love, different things like that. So he ends up being adopted by a, you know, I kind of think of like, I almost kind of reminded me also too of like X-Men, where you had like this group of individuals that were all different and, you know, basically being trained by, you know, the professor kind of thing. Kind of remind me of that too. So you have this man who is this rich dude, and he decides to take in these boys and raise them as his own, and ends up like kind of raising them how Dexter's father in the show Dexter raised his son, where it's like, look, if you're going to have that urge to kill bad people. Kill all the bad people. So that's basically what happened with Adam. At 16 years old, he killed somebody, and that person's son ends up finding him years later, and his son Noah wants to finish the job. He wants to kill this person that killed his dad. So Adam shows him some things to Noah, saying, look, your dad was a bad person. And so it kind of cracks open like basically Noah's mind to remember past traumas that he had. And this kind of explores the story of like all of this stuff that happened to him. And he wants to basically take down the people that hurt him. So Adam's like, I'm going to go and kill some more people. And so within this story is also a romance. You have Adam and Noah, and they get together. They start being intimately involved. So, you know, this is, you know, a male-male romance. If you're not into the male romances, I would say skip this book. But I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4. But the thing with me is that it was just really dark for me. And one of my triggers is like hearing about child molestation, hearing about human trafficking. Those are like my triggers right there. So it was me trying to work through my triggers to finish the book. I was trying to get through it fairly quickly, and it was good. I did enjoy the book. I thought the writer was good. He did a good job of the writing, but it was a very dark read. And so it's like, if you're okay with those types of triggers, then you probably would like this book. This here was just really dark. I'm not sure if I'm going to go into the rest of the series. I would like to see, because the second book has like the one brother in it, because they're all like with A names. Like you have Adam here, he's the youngest, and then you have Austin, and I think the one's name was Asa, Asa, and like Avi, something like that. There was like how many? And then I think there was another one, but I think he was more of a recluse. Like he didn't really like involve himself. But I would say, like, if you're into Dexter, if you're into Criminal Minds, if you're into X-Men, also I would say The Umbrella Academy. That kind of reminded me of that too. The Umbrella Academy, just this weird family of, siblings. Doom Patrol, anything like that. If you're into those types of TV shows, you probably would be interested in this series, because it's a really interesting series. But I loved Dexter, so it's like this whole like killing bad people, though it's like I could understand people who are like, don't be a vigilante, let the law, handle it. But I mean, if the police can't even catch these people, and you are in the hands of this evidence, what would you do, kind of thing. Would you go and give this stuff to the police and hopefully the law takes care of it? Or would you just go and just end this one because they're just a terrible person anyway? So it kind of like, has kind of the, what would you do kind of like in that situation? Would you go on and just be a vigilante and just kill these bad people? Or would you actually take this stuff to the police and all that? So it was a very interesting story. I'll give it that. It was very interesting, very different than what I normally read, but it was very triggering. And so it's like, it's not really something where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go right into the second one. Give me a little time, I'll get to the second one eventually, but I got to take a break from that and then go into something else. So the next book I ended up reading is Drive Me Wild by Melanie Harlow. This one here, we've got the characters of Griffin and Blair. So there is a trigger warning for, like, there's talk of miscarriage, but it's very quick, so it's not like it lingers, so that's good. It just kind of very short. But it's a small town romance, and they also have that grumpy sunshine type of trope. This one here, it was more of a quiet romance to me. So we have the character of Blair, and she gets stranded in this small town. She's unfortunately not a very good driver, and she had an accident. She's helped out by the town mechanic, Griffin. So Griffin is a former military guy who was heartbroken in the past and would prefer to remain single. Which really makes his mom not happy. His mother would rather have her children married with children. And I don't know if this is like a southern thing, but maybe like more southern mamas are kind of like, hurry up and get married and give me some grandbabies. I'm not sure if that's the type of thing, but yeah, I'm not sure. But this one here, the problem I had with this story was that it was a very slow romance for me. I felt that the mother butted in too much into her children's lives. I can understand her concern, but, she pushed the having babies and getting married too much, and it annoyed me. I've known, like, mothers like that, parents like that, where they're like, why aren't you getting married already and having babies? And it's like, why don't you chill out, calm down, because this person wants to actually do something with their life first before they want to have children. They don't want to rush into having kids, you know. The culture's changed. You know, maybe back in the day during my grandparents' time, you know, in the 50s, they got married young. You know, my grandmother got married at 20. Got married at 18. That's what, she got married at 18. 18. Would I ever saw myself getting married at 18? Heck no. And then she had my mother when she was 20 years old. And I just think it's very, very young, very young. There was no way I could have, you know, I probably would have had the maturity for it, but I really didn't want kids in my 20s. So I'm glad I waited till my 30s to have my children. So for me, it's like she kind of pushed it a little bit too much. And I was like, lady, chill out. He's going to have kids. Calm down. So yeah, she was a little too kind of like, you know, have babies, you know, kind of guilt tripping him too. And I was like, calm down. And I said, also for me, Griffin was so freaking stubborn. I said there was a part in this book where he was a total a-hole. He was a total a-hole. And he hurt Blair's feelings, and he didn't want to admit that he had feelings for her. And which caused them to go their separate ways. And it's usually that typical third act breakup / separation. And then finally, he kind of like got his head out of his butt and realized that he did have feelings for her. And, you know, when she was gone, it was like he realized, oh, she's gone. She's gone. She's actually gone. So, yeah. For me, I was like, dude, you were holding on to that singlehood, you know, attitude for way too long. You fell for her quickly. Sometimes it happens. I mean, now, within 30% of the book, they were already having sex, but he just was kind of like, oh, I just want to treat this as like a friends with benefits type of thing. And I'm like, dude, you are being dumb. You're being dumb. Admit your feelings and stop playing games with this girl. So I felt like he played games like on her head, like tap dancing on her head. And I'd say she was a little bit gullible. You know, she comes from you know, she was wealthy. Her family was wealthy. And she really wanted to have independence away from her family and, you know, have it to where she wanted to start her own business. Her family basically wanted her to be married off to some rich guy and be like a, you know, a debutante or something, or like one of those women that are like, you know, they stay home and all they do is just plan their, you know, plan their little parties they're going to have around their house and all that stuff, you know, kind of like that, you know. And she wanted to do more, you know. She secretly took like baking classes, and she liked to bake and cook and different things like that. So she really wanted to do more with her life. And so she ended up going to this town because she had the accident. And she really was, you know, she really was a sunshiny type of hero. And he just really was a grump and just, you know, there were times he was a total a-hole. He was a total a-hole. And I was like, dude, get your head out of your you know, out of your butt. And, you know, admit your feelings. Stop dragging butt, you know, stop dragging your ass. And, and, you know, tell her how you're feeling. So that's what really kind of like lessened my enjoyment for the book. So I ended up giving it a 3. It was a cute story, but it really lessened my enjoyment because he was so stubborn. And I was just like, you know, I wanted to just shake him and say, you are being dumb. You are being dumb. Ugh. But yeah, that's what I've read so far. If you notice, I got sunburned yesterday. I got burned bad. So yeah, I've got like a burn right here. I got right here. I've got right here. I got the back of my legs. I definitely missed some spots when I was putting on sunblock, and I can tell I got burned. So yeah. But yeah, that's it for this week's video. Have yourself a good day. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Be safe out there. And I will see you all on the next video. All right. Bye.